Hey everyone, welcome back to Sonder County, more specifically Windsor, our failing gem of a city, where today I'll be showing you guys how to create a convincing yet realistic transportation hub here in City Skylines 2. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, we'll be able to create an efficient, safe, and reliable bus network here in Windsor that all of our citizens can enjoy, and will also allow us to link our county up to all of the surrounding areas. And if you liked this video or hated it, tell me why in the comments. And if you want to continue to support the channel, feel free to subscribe and join my Discord down below. It helps me out a ton and allows me to continue making videos like these happen. Now, let's stop the yapping and get to building. That's right, we are back in the city of Windsor, our failing gem of the county, where today we're going to be creating a very nice transportation hub, and I'm going to show you guys just how to do it. So you can see how I'm doing right now is you can see that I'm laying down the foundation here. Mainly flat land is going to be your best friend. You can do it on a hill. I wouldn't recommend it though. It doesn't slow anything down, but it definitely doesn't make certain things look pretty. And I'm all for aesthetics while also maintaining efficiency, so that's exactly what we're going to be following in today's video. You can notice that I'm using a lot of one-way roads. This is important because it allows for direct traffic. Say if we had two-way roads, then we could have through traffic going through and it could clog up things more than an 80-year-old's artery, okay? So we're gonna need some one-way roads here. Now, I would recommend ignoring this part of the video here. This is not important, actually, at all, and in fact, this was just a test to see, like, hey, you know, maybe I could put a highway ramp that could just lead directly onto the highway from the bus station. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. However, while I do this, I'm going to mention a couple of things. One, this transportation hub is fit for buses and taxis, not trams. Trams I'm not a huge fan of, at least for now. There's not really anything within Windsor where I could put in a tram and have it make sense and not make it look all flashy. If we had some older tram models, I could probably do it, but I wouldn't even say that. Like, most cities don't really have trams, especially nowadays. However, this transportation hub is still pretty good. By the end of it, the traffic did not get better. In fact, it got worse. But I think that that'll have to be a stream. Honestly, I'm gonna have to fix it on a stream because, to be honest with y'all, it's a little finicky. So what you can see that I'm doing now is I'm just placing down our bus stations. I wanted the on-ramps to be about halfway in the middle of the roads, and the reason for this is just so it had some time to stop, and it also, again, all aesthetics, right? Transportation hubs are really easy to do. All you need to do is make sure that, one, it fits in with your aesthetic, and two, it doesn't look really, like, massive. Like, you can have massive transportation hubs. Like, that's never usually a problem. But I feel like a lot of people think, well, transportation hub, that means I gotta make Grand Central Station in City Skylines 2. No, you really don't need to. This one is, honestly, I'd say, like, a medium size, maybe, like, medium to small. It's not massive. And, like, it's fairly easy to make these. And, you know, like, a lot of this is just decoration, right? But realistically, when it boils down to it, it's really just two stacks of one-way, preferably two-lane roads. You can have it be a one-lane, but I would recommend two lanes just in case if a bus needs to drive through. Maybe a couple of, like, bus-dedicated lanes, but other than that, it's really simple. It's just one-way roads with bus stations and making sure that you connect everything. It's the equivalent of you being an electrical engineer without actually being an electrical engineer. You got to figure out how to make the circuit work, okay? Like, this is a lot of circuitry, especially when you make routes. Like, it literally looks like an electrical circuit, especially by the end of the video. So the thumbnail, you may have clicked on it because you're like, oh man, functional taxi stand, right? I'm not a person to lie, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that was actually clickbait. I'm not gonna really do that again, but it was honestly just because, honestly, I need help with this part. This part of the video was when I was like, shoot, I can't make a dedicated taxi stand that can have drive lanes, like, so that a taxi would drive up to this little platform, pick up people, and then drive off. I feel like that would have been super cool, but it's not like anyone really uses taxis in Windsor and in Sonder County alone. That it isn't really a popular form of transportation. Only when you're getting into the city it is. And of course, when you're getting into the city, that means that other cities surrounding Sonder County or other counties surrounding the county are pretty much just like, you know, like they're gonna use their taxis. Like I'm not gonna use mine just to go pick somebody up in another an entirely new city. So honestly, I'm kind of just keeping it there for aesthetics, and I mean it looks cool. Maybe it's also a small parking lot. That's also usually a very common thing, but even then I still don't know how to get a dedicated like parking area there. I feel like that there's something with net lane tools. I remember something about net lanes, but honestly I'm gonna have to look into it after recording this video, because would I say that this build is unfinished? No, but I feel like that there could still be more that could have been done. But I've been on quite the time constraint lately, so you know, I guess, you know, give me some credit where it's due, I suppose. But hey, I still think that it turned out pretty cool. This is a neat little area, very, very neat. And then, of course, going in with some more surface textures, you know, adding in this and a no parking symbol. So I guess that kind of defeats the purpose of it being a parking lot. But I don't know. Maybe in the future we'll make it a parking lot. I don't know if you guys want that, but that's something so minuscule in the county that I don't even think it matters. Anyhow, you know, filling it up with some little surface terrain tools. I'd recommend doing this when you're making a transportation hub. Lots of concrete with a mixture of grass and parking. Not parking areas, more like leisure parks, not actual parkings, which I never really understood the name of that until, like, actually, I'm never going to. Like, that's such a weird name for something. But anyways, we're getting a little distracted here. I wanted sort of a canopy to go over the stations, and this is when I started kind of exploring, like, how can these certain types look? So I looked at this small bus station, and I was like, huh, you know, this actually looks pretty neat, pretty freaking cool, you know? And I figured that it would make sense if I added in sort of like a little canopy that went over it. And it took quite a freaking long time, especially because at this part of the video, I was trying to make another bus stop, which I ended up deleting this anyways. It just ended up becoming a little slip lane, so it didn't even matter. And then I discovered, yes, the alleyways. Never use one-way highway ramps. They have all the markings and they look really stupid. I'd recommend not doing it unless if you're going for like a really fast-paced bus stop, but even then, like, it's like you can't really, the cars in the game can only travel so fast on like a highway ramp before they actually get onto the real highway. I'm pretty sure. I haven't really tested it, but from my knowledge, their max speed is only like maybe 20 miles faster. So it's like, you know, unless if you want to build it off of a highway, you can. I mean, I'm not saying you can't, especially with the integrated bus stops. You can technically do that with, I completely forgot which mod it is, but I think it's like Lanes and Connections. I think that's the mod. I don't really know. Maybe I'll try and find it in a link to the description, but honestly, I wouldn't even bet it that I'll be able to remember that by the time I'm done editing this video. Anywho, yeah, so you can see sort of like, this kind of looks like a rough sketch, but then this is when I discovered this. Look at these little canopies. They look pretty cute, don't they? Yeah, they look awesome. I wish they were a little bit wider though, but I found these bus station services. They look pretty freaking cool. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys right now. These little things are on the, I'm pretty sure the small bus station, and it just looks absolutely divine. It looks like a perfect way to add in some modern flair. We're also keeping it like not too over the top. Like, it looks absolutely amazing. I mean, look at this. Bam, bam, bam. Room for one more? Probably. I did record another area where I did extend this, but honestly, it was like 30 seconds long, and it would be difficult to edit a 30-second video. So honestly, I'm not even gonna add that in, but it's genuinely just more of this. Next thing that you definitely want to consider when you're adding in transportation hubs is really like getting some buildings down, right? Office buildings typically surround transportation hubs, management areas, things of that nature. And it makes sense. It makes sense, right? So I added in this with the ploppable service buildings. I added in the main bus station, which I'm going to actually use instead as sort of a foul bus depot, right? Is that how you say it? Foul. It's the FAUX word. That one. I think it's. I'm not even gonna bother. That's starting to make me upset that I can't get that. Anyways, Yeah, no, I wanted this to be more of a parking lot because I noticed that it didn't have the actual bus platform, so I was like, huh. And it also has like 1 through 6 as a numbered letter on the bus station, so I was like, you know, this would be pretty cool to have some buses that could be like parked here as like ploppable little structures. This entire building isn't functional. I mean, it could be if I added in a commercial area, but I don't want traffic clogging up this place like an artery, so I'm literally just gonna try and avoid it as much as I can. This whole area technically isn't functional besides the couple of bus stations. If the AI were to look at this area, it would literally just show 2 or 3 little markers, which is just the bus stations and the roads. They wouldn't look at any of the other designs, and I guess that's how the AI works. But I kind of wish that maybe one day we'll get a mod where you can plop down the buildings and they'll be functional. Like, say if I plop down seats or whatever, the citizens can sit in them. But I feel like that they're just clippable assets for now, which is fine. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? I mean, it's not like I want one anyways, whatever. Start like kicking the ground, like kicking dust up. And throwing like a little tantrum. It's like, it's not like I wanted it anyways. It's not like I wanted usable props anyways. It's a stupid game anyways. But no, it definitely does kind of suck. But I do like the, I'm going to keep calling it the lanes and connections mod until somebody in the comments corrects me. But it's basically where I can, look at this. Contemporary arc. Oh my goodness. Windsor attempts to modernize by placing down a bunch of modern arcs, and they're like, you know what would be really cool is if we design this building to look like the future of bus travel. So they added this in, and then they sunk it into the ground. Oh, look at that. It honestly looks pretty freaking cool. Like, I don't even, like, it's just that little touch-up. I probably could have added a fountain right there, to be honest. I don't know. I think my mind is just swarming with ideas of what could have been, but whatever. You know what? Everything. I mean, there's millions of things that we can do, but we don't do them anyways, right? I mean, it just makes sense. But this little parking lot looks nice, looks functional. Well, partially functional, kind of, sort of, not really. I mean, I can't add in buses on every single parking lot, but whatever. And then I added this little jerk off who's facing the other way because he wants to be pretentious. Like, hey, Bill, look, I could park backwards. So, you know, every area I want to tell a story, and that's one of them. And then here's me with the old electrical circuit board. Yep, this is what hell looks like. It's bus lines, making sure that everything's connected and everything works. Dear God, I'm not gonna know where any of this goes in about 10 minutes, and I already don't. I noticed that most people were actually going over to the taxi stands. I think that's because I was leaving the game running while building this. So you could see the army swarming in. Look at it go. Oh yeah. This looks awesome. It looks great, and it's definitely going to help out with the construction of Windsor in the future, because we're still not done with Windsor. Windsor is a city, so we need to make sure it looks like or somewhat of a city, kind of, sort of, not really. I don't know. But yeah, no, transportation hubs. What do you need to know about them? Well, first, flat land, second, details, and third of all, make sure that you hook up everything nicely and make sure that you don't overuse a bunch of buses. Like, when it says assigned vehicles, don't just leave it like that. Turn it to the lowest amount until you start getting more passengers, and then gradually add them in with each of your lines. I'd recommend transportation hubs be built, like, when you have over, like, 20,000 people. I only have 11,000 in the county, but it's still, like, realistically, honestly, it's once traffic gets bad, man. Once traffic starts to get bad, then that's when you can go in and, like, all right, I gotta go fix this. But, like, honestly, traffic wasn't even that bad. I wanted to add it in because we're gonna do a lot of expanding next video, so I wanted to really do some prep work for that. And really showcase the fact that transportation hubs are not entirely difficult. Like, they are very easy to create. They're very easy to expand on later on. Mine was just a detailed one, but honestly, you can do this all in vanilla, and it'll work, like, just fine. So, yeah, like, I mean, what other pointers do I really need to have? Especially when we go into the other area, Grapeseed. Of course, if you're going to have bus stations, I figured that we would need to connect Grapeseed up with Windsor, and obviously that makes sense, being able to have a bus line from one town to the next. I kind of wanted everything to be connected, also because traffic is going to be a terrible monstrosity, so we're going to need all this infrastructure that we can get. And, you know, another thing that a lot of people see, they see, like, the buses kind of queuing up like this. They'll eventually clear out as you just kind of let them, like, you just got to kind of let the buses go. You got to let them go, you know? Like, eventually, everything will clear up and everything will be fine. Until I did this. Yeah, that stupid freaking road. I can't believe I did that. I ignore that entire part. Don't do what I did. That's too many collector roads. Too many. But anyways, let's look at it at night, shall we? Bam! Looks pretty cool. Yeah. I feel like I could have used a little bit more lights, definitely, but, I mean, hey, what are you gonna do, right? Now, it's moving on to Grapeseed, building a small transportation hub, which is much easier, or much easier done than said, rather. Yeah, it's super easy to make one of these things, especially when they're small. Of course, doing it in a very cramped area like this was definitely a pain in the booty, but it still worked. It still worked out pretty well. And oh my gosh, look at our plaza that we built in episode 1. Wow, we have come so far. Anywho, let's get started on our small transportation hub. So this is super duper important. Originally, I was going to create down, you know, some small bus stations, right? But that sucks. Don't do that when you're building a transportation hub. Don't use you gotta use mods for these, man. I'm not gonna lie. You know, usually I'm not a stickler about people using vanilla, but with this stuff, you should definitely lock in a little bit and do that. Anywho, take a look at this. Bam! Look at that. A little bit of the Move It mod going in. You already know. And then I raised up the road just a little bit so that the platform wasn't just, you know, going right off of the ground. And then some bus service stations. I wanted to sort of look like the county sort of built both of these transportation hubs just to sort of make them, you know, like similar to each other. Like it was a whole reconstruction project and they were like, you know what, we need, traffic is like really bad. We gotta fix this. I'd like to imagine that these stations were probably built at the end life of the county, like towards the end when like everything was finished. But I figured we should just do it as it comes up because that's a more realistic way of doing it instead of forcing myself to do whatever else I was planning on doing. Anywho, connecting it up with Windsor and with other routes as well so that people could go to work. Yay! Isn't that fun? And then we go all the way over and we're like, you know what's funny too? Originally I didn't even want to connect this up to Windsor, but then I was like, wait a minute. Lock in, bro. Lock the hell in. Bam! We have now locked in, folks. We have now connected up Grapeseed to Windsor. So now people don't have to walk to work, which I have actually seen. I have seen somebody walk the entire way to Windsor from Grapeseed. And I was like, damn. I wanted to sort of make a lot of people in Grapeseed take the bus, so I made the ticket prices super cheap, but that's definitely something you should do. Ignore that service budget. It's just because I'm playing on Sandbox. Don't do that, because that'll be nuts. You know what else is freaking nuts? Is traffic, man. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, we're doing $5 and $3. If you live in Grapeseed, your ticket prices are cheaper because, I don't know, I like you more than a New Windsor citizen. New Windsor. Oh, sorry, I still have my I still have my Orange County brain going off because literally New Windsor is a real town. This whole city is based off of a real city in Orange County, New York, but New Windsor in real life is not this bad. I honestly just needed something to go off of here for a name, and I was like, Windsor, that's actually pretty sick. Pretty fire, man. Also, traffic management, once you add in this, there's going to be a lot, it's going to get clogged up. Do this. Boom. Done. Easy. It's very simple. Very simple. Very, very demure, very mindful. I'm sorry, I won't say that ever again. I think I've already said that on the channel too, and I've already apologized for saying it, but I'm going to continue saying it. I don't really care. Yeah, no, like, just adding in, it's lane math, guys. It's lane math. Traffic management's very easy. You just gotta do some lane math. And also, when you have road management depots, don't be worried once your traffic slows down a little bit. Those things clog up the roads, okay? Because they stop every 5 seconds, so I'd recommend, like, just ignoring that. It'll go away. Unless if it starts gridlocking your city, which has happened to me in an old save from, like, a year ago. I got gridlock and I had to delete the city because it was actually unmanageable. I should have sent it to, like, Bifa or something like that. Like, Bifa plays indie games and been like, hey, man, can you fix this for me, please, please, please? I'll pay you money. paying a YouTuber money just to do my dirty work, that's really funny. I guess that'd be like paying an editor to edit your videos. Like, it's not really that big of a deal. But, hey, look at this. Yay, this goes from Grapeseed to Windsor. And now, holy moly, I didn't even notice this while editing this video. Whoa, that is crazy. But you can see how efficient transportation hubs are once you make them correctly. And if you have a lot of pedestrians, that means you did it right. And I guess the last things that I have to do for pointers is just make sure that you know where they're going, and then basically have bus lines that take them from the bus station to wherever they want to go. But honestly, that's a whole other can of worms that I could get into if you guys wanted me to, and my city's not big enough to do that. But yeah, this is the transportation hub for Windsor. If you guys did enjoy this little mini build, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next. And yeah, my name is Brett. Stay frosty, stay curious, and of course, while this video was not the longest, it's definitely quite long-winded because I've been a tad bit busy. Life gets in the way. Life never slows down for anybody. But until next time, everybody, I will see you all in the next one. And hopefully, the next video will be quite a bit longer than this one. So, yeah. See you guys.